Good afternoon, and thank you very much for joining us. This is our first EXJ Community exclusive event, how to rewrite a JD resume for corporate roles and actually get an interview. Thank you for joining the community and for being here today. I'm Kimberly Fine, and I am joined by my partner Neil Handwerker, who is also the CEO of Ex Judicata and the EXJ Community. We will be recording the session. However, I will cease the recording prior to Q&A so that each of you may ask questions freely. It is now my absolute pleasure to introduce Lisa Carman. Lisa is the owner of Resonating Resumes LLC, where she has helped thousands of professionals, executives, and attorneys craft strategic, keyword-rich resumes and LinkedIn profiles that lead to interviews and job offers. After more than 20 years in corporate America, Lisa discovered her purpose, helping people see, own, and communicate their professional value with clarity and confidence. Known as the resume guru, Lisa blends corporate insight, coaching, expertise, and storytelling finesse to help clients transform their career materials and mindset. Her personalized approach helps professionals identify what sets them apart and communicate that value in writing, online, and in the interview. Consider Lisa your partner in progress, a trusted guide who helps attorneys translate legal experience into business value, communicate their strengths with confidence, and open doors to new and fulfilling corporate careers. Thank you so much, Lisa, and it's now my pleasure to turn it right over to you.
Oh, thank you, Kimberly, for such a wonderful introduction. I appreciate that. Kimberly and Neil, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to present to Ex Judicata. It's very exciting, and I'm looking forward to many more partnering opportunities with you both. So I am going to go ahead and share my screen. And the first thing I'm going to share is what you see in the chat, which is a document that I created just for all of you in this session today. So I'm showing you what it is. It's a list of job opportunities, job titles for attorneys. So different roles that you can be considering based on your niche as an attorney. So we're looking at contract, commercial, and deal-focused roles here with a list of job titles. And then why it fits for attorneys, I included that information under each one as well. This is almost 3 pages in length, so I tried to be very thorough and cover everything you might need to know in terms of the different roles. There's also new grad roles towards the end of the document. So I wanted to point that out. I'm going to stop that share, and now I'm going to go into my slideshow. Okay. Almost there. And now I just need to turn on the presentation mode and we're ready to go. All right. As Kimberly said, I am an expert resume writer and LinkedIn branding person. And actually what I really do is corporate transition strategy work. So I help executives, I help attorneys, I help corporate professionals make big changes in career. And it's all about transformation and creating the marketing tools you need to be successful. Now, I am offering, as Kimberly mentioned, a free resume review to everyone on the session today. So in that free review, you'll get 15 to 20 minutes of my time at no cost, and we'll just chat and talk about how to make your resume better, and I'll explain how to do that step by step. Now, that said, if you're having trouble writing this resume, don't worry. It's hard. It's really difficult to write your own materials. Even for professionals like HR people or talent acquisition people who review resumes every day, it's a whole different animal to write your own materials. That's why I'm so popular. So in addition to the free review, I'm offering everyone in this session and at Judicata in particular, a 20% discount on any service as long as you book it before the end of the year. We could be doing the work in January, February timeframe, but at least book with me before the end of the year for the 20% off. Let's see. I My approach is extremely collaborative. I connect with you one-on-one, and I blend very structured thinking, years of experience in this field, and that personal connection, so that we can elevate your brand and speed up your job search and help you get results. So this is the first of 3 sessions. And this is all about elevating you for your job search. And today is about all about resumes. That's what we're talking about. On January 21st, 2026, I'm going to be explaining how to use AI tools to accelerate your job search. So this is not for you to just plug in information and have the AI spit out your resume. This is to help you improve it and make you more efficient. And we'll cover everything from resumes to how to organize your job search and even practicing for interviews using AI tools. So I'm going to be very thorough with you and comprehensive in that presentation. And then the third presentation is February 25th, 2026, and it's all about LinkedIn, how to build your brand so that you get found for the right opportunities. So we have a lot in store for you. So today's agenda, all about the resume, as I said. This is about helping you write a resume that not only is effective, but gets you through the ATS and gets you interviews. That's my focus. And that includes keyword tailoring to a job description. And that also includes how to write an achievement bullet or a star bullet. And I'll explain all of that as we get there. The reason we're going into star bullets is because that's what speaks to corporate. And it's going to matter a lot once you're applying online. All right. So, in terms of the resume, format and design can be everything when it comes to getting through the application system. And I will explain a lot more for that as well. It's also important for readability and just flow. The way I write a resume, I create kind of a rhythm or a cadence to the resume so that the reader immediately starts to understand, well, you can always find the results in this position under each bullet. And personalization is also super important. And that's where AI doesn't do us a great service. But we'll talk about that more and why it matters so much. And then keyword optimization. All right, so we're going to start with a before and after example. What you see is a before example. And this is Sammy's resume. And Sammy gave me this resume before he hired me. And this is all that he had on it besides his education. So I'm not showing you the whole resume, but you'll get the idea when we get to the after. So he's got a very brief paragraph. I can tell he has experience in contract law and litigation. He's skilled in legal research, writing, drafting documents, supporting cases. He also says he's seeking a corporate role where I can use my legal background. Well, one of the first flags for me is never use I in your resume. This is a very formal, traditional document and always speak in third person. It's different in LinkedIn, where you may want to get more personal. So don't use I or me or we in a resume. So looking at that profile paragraph, I kind of know what he does, but there's really nothing to differentiate him from anyone else. And I'm not seeing much in the way of corporate language, right? It's all legalese. And when I get down to his experience section, I see his title and the company and the timeline, which is important. But then essentially what I see is a list of responsibilities, which by the way is quite typical for attorney resumes that I see. So we're looking at this list of responsibilities that he could have just taken from his job description. So I want you all to think of it in this way. Anyone, I mean anyone, could create a list of responsibilities that they're supposed to be doing in their role. Not everyone show their true impact with achievements and results related to their responsibilities. So if I was in working with Sammy, as I'm looking at these responsibilities, I say, okay, so you drafted and reviewed contracts and legal documents. So what? How did that impact the organization? How do you know you were successful? Was this something that we could create an achievement bullet out of. And the deeper I dig, the more information I get. So let's take a look at the after, and I will explain step by step everything that matters in the after example. All right, so here is Sammy. I need to move something real quick. Okay, down. So this is the after resume, very traditional format, and I can tell you this is what works in application systems. And we'll get deeper into that as we go. So first we have the banner, which is the name and contact information. Then I always use a border line just to separate that from the next line down, which is the title line. So this title line is either a list of potential roles that this person is interested in. And the way you get that list is you do your research and you look at different job descriptions, and the titles that really speak to you that you think you can step into and be successful. That's what you list in your title line. Now, the exception to that is when you have the exact job description in front of you, then that title line becomes the job title only. And that is because job titles are always keyword searchable. They're always keywords. So you must have the job title that you're applying to on the resume in the title line. Now, if a recruiter reached out to you or a colleague and said, "Hey, get me your resume," and they don't really have a job description in front of them, then it should be that list of titles like you see here that you'd be interested in pursuing. And you just take your best guess. Don't use more than one line for the title line. And your title line is a target, not a credential. And when you're looking at purely corporate roles, you may want to consider taking your JD off of your name. When a hiring authority looks at JD, they think lawyer. When they look at contract manager, they think business partner. So you may want to move the JD down into the experience section, either right next to where you say Juris Doctor, in the education section, excuse me. And or you could put it right next to the state that you're licensed in. But you'll keep the JD, just don't put it right next to your name if it's purely corporate roles you're going for. So here is the profile paragraph that I doctored up and rewrote for Sammy. So I tried to incorporate how many years of experience he has. I tried to talk about what is his best, what really matters about him. One of the things he talked about a lot in the first 1 hour call I had with him was that it really matters to him to work on a team. He doesn't think he would be very happy remotely because he wants to be in person talking with people and meeting with people, and he likes driving collaboration. So I made sure I added that to the very end of the profile paragraph. A collaborative team player and trusted leader. He also is a natural leader. That took a while for me to get that out of him, but he always has been. So ultimately, he's interested in leadership roles moving forward. He doesn't expect to get one right away, but it's something he can be looking towards as a future goal. So after the profile paragraph, oh, and by the way, I typically strive for 300 to 500 characters for the profile paragraph. And I encourage you all to take screenshots as we're going. Do whatever you like to help you remember the content of what I'm talking about. So 300 to 500 characters. Occasionally, I'll go to 600 characters, but you want it to be brief and highlight the best about you without getting too detailed. And you can use ChatGPT to ask you to make that better, to shorten it or paraphrase in a different way. And then coming down to key strengths, I always include a key strengths section, and I always call it that to remind you that that's where keywords go from a job description. So first, let's talk about why this matters. So first, I identify the true key strengths of this candidate, of Sammy. And absolutely, it's about contract stuff, contract lifecycle management, contract drafting and review, contract interpretation. But he also is really good at communications, and in particular, stakeholder or client communications, you might change it to. Depends on you. Documentation management. So first, I identify the top 9 things he's known for, right? Maybe 12 at the most. If you're a more senior leader, I might go to 12 key strengths. All right. Then When you're tailoring the resume to a job description, this is the second thing you go to tailor to the job description. And let me describe that process for you. Actually, I've got another slide that's step by step. We'll get there in a moment. But the first thing you do is change the title line to be the job title. Then you jump down to key strengths and plug and play job description keywords into your key strengths. Of course, the only exception to that is if you cannot speak to that key strength in an interview. For example, never in my lifetime will I be able to put a key strength of financial analysis on my resume. Even if the job has that as a keyword, I can't put it on the resume because I cannot um, speak to it effectively in an interview. Okay. So once you've plugged in all the key strengths, all the keywords into your key strengths, and if you have to add a line of 3 more key strengths just to capture more keywords, as long as you can speak to them, that's what you do. You're just trying to satisfy an algorithm looking for these words. So when you use up your key strengths, then you can go up to the profile paragraph and do the same thing. I usually look for similar meaning words first. If I have to write a whole new sentence to capture a string of keywords, that's what I do. And I replace one of my sentences with it. If pagination wise you're tight on space, you won't want to keep adding sentences, but you can replace a sentence if you need to. All right, so that in a nutshell tells you about the keyword tailoring, and I'll have a slide you can screenshot shortly. Now let's come down to the experience section. So what I've done is we still have his job title, the company name, and the timeline. This is critical. And then I've added a 1 sentence responsibility statement. And I always italicize the responsibility statement just to remind you that this is a responsibility. It is not an achievement yet. Okay, so just capture the overall responsibilities of the role. ChatGPT can help you with that as well to narrow it down. And then I inserted all these well put together star statements or achievement bullets. So the first one is instead of what he had, let me just go backwards real quick. Drafted and reviewed contracts and legal documents, as well as a few others. I said, drafted, reviewed, and negotiated 75 plus commercial agreements annually. And we're talking commercial agreements. That matters. That could be a key word. Reducing contract revision cycles and improving clarity of key terms. And the actual results are faster execution and reduced dispute risk. So that's how you structure a star statement an achievement bullet. So you start with what you did, always start with action verbs. You say what you can say in terms of any metrics, and then the results are either qualitative or quantitative results. Quantitative speaks louder than words. Numbers always speak louder than words. So when you can quantify, like with the 75 plus agreements annually, that's great. But you don't quantify every time. So faster execution. I asked Sammy, do you have a percentage increase of execution in there or productivity saved or reduced cycle time? A percentage. He did not. He could not guesstimate at that. So you just do the best that you can on this. So from here, we're going to talk about the keyword tailoring. This is the screenshot I mentioned, describing my process for keyword tailoring step by step. So if you wanted to screenshot that real quick, I'll stay on it for just a moment. So this is what I do. You can use AI for this, but you really have to review what AI spits out for you. The AI hallucinates and will add information that isn't true and act like it's the authority. It can really mess up your resume document over time if you keep using AI to keyword tailor. So this is how I do it. You copy the job description content into a new file. You highlight all the keywords or phrases and be quick about it. Do not worry about if you're highlighting one keyword, if it's really a keyword or maybe it's not, just highlight. Do it in, 1 minute, 2 minutes tops. Highlight, highlight, highlight. Then position your highlighted job description on the left-hand side of your computer screen and your resume that you're ready to tailor on the right. And you just plug and play into the key strengths. And you plug in that job title at the top in the title line. And then you add keywords to the profile paragraph. That, in a nutshell, is how I keyword tailor a resume to a job description. It's fast, it's easy. And I talk to people who spend days trying to get it right for one job description. I'm like, 15, 20, 30 minutes is all you need. That's all you really need. And the more you do this, the faster you'll get. Now, ChatGPT can help you with this, but the key is going to be narrowing it down to the right keywords. So ask ChatGPT to identify the top 12 keywords in a job description, and then you can do your tailoring based on that, or ask ChatGPT for help. But it's just not as simple as taking what it gives you. Okay, all about keyword tailoring. And now we're going to get into our STAR statements, how you take those responsibilities and create achievements. So the reason you want to do this is it's about strategic impact. This helps you take an activity or a task and make it strategic. So it shows impact over activity. It makes your achievements concrete and much more credible. It improves your ability to ATS keyword tailor in a job description for the application system. And it creates an easy to scan results focused set of bullets for you. So let's look at how that really works, what the STAR means. You may have heard it called SAR or CAR or AB, which for achievement bullets, but it's all about this tried and true process. I just picked STAR because that's what I grew up on 50 years ago in corporate when I learned about it. So STAR is the situation. You're identifying that. So you're explaining the challenge, the problem, or context that you were facing, especially anything particularly unusual or difficult or unique about that. So perhaps you were facing a team of very resistant people. They did not want to change, but you got them aligned. You have to mention that in the STAR statement. And then the task. What goal or responsibility did you need to accomplish? Then your action. So this is again about those action verbs that you start each STAR statement with. So what specific steps did you personally take to solve this problem? And then overall results. What measurable impact or outcome did your work deliver? So, and again, if you have metrics, fabulous, because numbers are loud, but qualitative results matter too, which are what was better, what improved because of you. So that in a nutshell is the model. The whole idea behind these achievement bullets is that past behavior predicts future behavior. So it gives an employer a better idea of what to expect from you on the job. That's the strategic piece. So I wanted to point out some metrics that attorneys consistently miss. When it comes to drafting contracts, how many per year do you draft? Like I showed in the example, 75 plus annually. The degree of quality in the contracts, the degree of success. In terms of revising agreements, cycle time reduction, dollars saved. If you're working with vendors, the percentage of vendors that were retained because of revising the agreement or eliminated because it wasn't good for the company to keep using them. And for risk review for that type of legal activity, disputes avoided, dollars saved, degree of risk mitigated, etc. And templates. I hear from attorneys all the time that they created templates. This is about efficiency. It's about productivity increase, cost savings. So there's a lot you can incorporate there as well. And then we have compliance rate case management when it comes to deadline tracking. So just an example, another good screenshot slide for you. Okay. And I talk to people all the time, not just attorneys, who say, I don't have any metrics. It's kind of just what I do. It's just my job. You can turn no metrics into metrics. Before thinking, I reviewed contracts and helped with disputes. After thinking, after I question and dig and get the real information out of the client, I find out that they reviewed and negotiated 75 plus agreements. They reduced review cycle times by 20% just through process improvement that they were very proactive about. I found that they supported resolution of disputes before escalation. So there actually could be a metric around that. And if you have to guesstimate to get a percentage metric, you do it as long as you feel like you're being honest and above board and can back that estimate up in an interview. This person also maintained 100% compliance with deadlines over 3 years. 100%. That's pretty impressive. Supported 30 plus concurrent matters. So good in a chaotic situation, can manage diverse responsibilities. You don't need to have perfect numbers. You just need reasonable indicators of scale, frequency, and impact. So you could have ranges of numbers using a plus or multiple or high volume, guesstimated percentages. You could talk about compliance, speed, risk reduction, confidence, improved team morale and confidence, or whatever you would say. And I have 3 slides of before and after statements for going from the before, the responsibility to the STAR achievement statement. So you might want to do screenshots on these. So the before responsibility, we already looked at that a lot. So let's look at the next one down. Worked on litigation matters and assisted with case strategy. Okay, so how did that really matter? This person actually partnered with internal attorneys and clients to interpret contractual obligations and identify risk exposure, contributing to early dispute resolution strategies and minimizing escalation costs, which we all know can be pretty high. I probably dug more and asked Sammy, tell me more about the escalation costs, but he clearly couldn't guesstimate a percentage. Next set of before and after bullets. This was not even mentioned on the resume until I started questioning Sammy. He actually, and this was important to him because he's all about making things better whenever possible. He identified a process improvement opportunity. He didn't just develop it and implement it. He identified it and went after it very proactively. So overall, his results were reducing review time by approximately 20%. That can make a big difference in an organization. And you can see the next line, the next one down. Again, another screenshot opportunity. I'm just trying to get through the material as quick as I can and still give you all the good info. Okay, so the last screenshot before and after examples, assisted with employee relations and conflict resolution. Well, what this person actually did was led confidential employee relations investigations and improved conflict resolution protocols. These are key words in any job description they're going for related to employee relations or HR activities. And the real result is fostering greater trust between HR and staff. So another thing I could have built more on, but she wasn't comfortable with it, is that she took the HR department from being a totally untrusted department and created this trusted partner within the organization. And suddenly all of the departments are going to them for help and reaching out. So it was really an amazing thing she did. So she fostered greater trust and reduced repeat issues through consistent, transparent communication. So this just gives you an idea of how to go from responsibility to STAR achievement. And I'm here to help you empower your journey. So if you're ready to stop guessing, if you've been struggling, you want to start getting traction in job search, let's talk about it. So I would work with you one-on-one to transform your resume, completely rework your bullets, and align your positioning to the roles you're actually interested in. And in some cases, help you figure out what roles are next for you. And now I would like to open it up for Q&A, or is that what we can do now? Great. So I'm going to
Yeah.
stop sharing.
Yes, absolutely we can. And what we're going to do at this juncture is, as I discussed earlier, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to stop recording. Lisa, thank you so much. Neil, thank you. And thank you to everyone for attending. I'm going to now stop recording.